you want to buy in Costa Rica. Just picture yourself sitting on the beach. You're after your 2 weeks vacation, and you just say, "Wow, I truly could live here." And that actually is what many people decide is, you know what if I buy in Costa Rica? And so here at our podcast today, I have a special guest, Sherry Lino from Costa Rica. She's actually calling in from Costa Rica because we wanted to share just kind of what's going on there and what is it like to buy property in Costa Rica, things that you have learned, because tell your story of how you ended up in Costa Rica, Sherry.
Okay. Well, and just a little change because not everybody is laying on the beach in Costa Rica because there is a huge Central Valley location that is in the mountains around the coffee fields. Help a family actually move from Hawaii, believe it or not. And they got a place over in the Pacific North End in Guanacaste, a really cool house by favorite beaches. But some people don't like the heat, but don't mind vacationing in that. So just know that Costa Rica has 5 different ecosystems that can please anybody, really, depending on what temperature you want to live in and be near other areas as well. Because, of course, everybody, if you know about Costa Rica, it's a very beautiful place. If you don't, you need to definitely come and see it.
I know visit, it was amazing. I just didn't
Yeah.
the breeze that came through is beautiful, and I had a view of the coffee fields. We're able to Starbucks has got one of their one of their labs up there that they're working on, which is again
Mhm.
that was just
40 minutes
really
away.
just eye opening. Really seeing because when you think Costa Rica, of course the postcards all have the amazing beaches, but man, again we saw some volcanoes. We saw really the mountain area. So kind of tell what area you're calling from, living in.
Well, I'm in the Central Valley, not only 45 minutes from the airport, but actually our property, I think I have 2.5 acres or so, but it's very quiet at night. You would think we're up in Never Never Land, but really town is only 15 minutes away. It's 72 degrees is the average temperature here. It's 60s in the evening. I am taking some guests over to the beaches. It's 90 to 100 degrees over there and gorgeous. But I came 30 years ago, and just like you, Steve, that's why you came to Costa Rica to come visit me one time. I loved it immediately. Within a week, I was thrilled. But I think part of it too is need to know, where do I want to live long term? If you love the beach for vacation but don't want to live in the sand and the heat and every day deal with that, but other people love it, right? So I think something important. I knew that about myself. So I always, in the 30 years, and purchased about 8 years ago, and now, of course, working in real estate here, the thing I tell clients is find out where you want to be climate wise, amenity wise. What do you need close to you? Medical, airport, do you travel a lot, etc.? Do you want to be out in the middle of nowhere? Do you not mind driving once a month to go get your groceries, major groceries? You can find little things in the little pueblitos. But that's what I would say is a first start for people is do some investigating or at least come and see for yourself the weather in the different areas. It's not a big country, so it's not like going through the continent of Africa or even the United States.
It's easy to really get an idea of what it is that you're looking for. So I have kind of some little questions that people have asked
Okay.
before. So can foreigners own property in Costa Rica?
Yes. It's a little different than Mexico. I know Mexico, it's trickier. You have to have a business or married to a national there. Costa Rica, you can own property. They don't title any beachfront right on the beach property, just so you know that. So if somebody's trying to sell you a house right on the beach, you need to check if it really is possible to buy it. So that's just one thing to know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
some are possible, it just depends exactly where it is and making sure you're not on public beaches and so forth.
Okay. So do would I need residency to buy? Or
No,
okay.
anybody can buy, you can be an investor. I'm actually selling a property for a buyer. She lives in New York. She's never even seen it before. She thought she was going to retire here. and it's a brand new condo. So if anybody's interested, call me. But it has all brand new furniture in it, and she's never even been able to come.
Oh,
So she had a representative help her, but that's just a rare thing. She is going to stay in Costa Rica. She's just decided a different area.
all the time I had some clients that they thought they were going to relocate to Malta, and it didn't quite work out. And so I guess that's happens many times. I think this is what you want, and that's why it was important. Let's talk about Costa Rica because, again, beautiful place to be. Could this be where someone wants to be? So yeah, so you said so investors, corporations, really anyone can have it as their vacation or their second home or anything.
Yes, and if you're a corporation, not a corporation out of the country, you would form a corporation here. You do want to do it that way, you would get a lawyer and you look at both options. Do I want to open a company, put this in a company name, or do I want to own this personally? Both are possible.
Okay. Now let's say I'm ready to buy. What is kind of the buying process start to finish?
So the first thing basically I ask buyers is, well, how much money do you want to spend? What's your criteria? As we know, even in the States, people's idea of their perfect place to live could be both spectrums of anything, right? Electricity, or I want a luxurious home. Both are possible here. I want to live off the grid, or I'm middle road, or I'm retired and I live on a budget. This is how much I have to spend, and I would like to buy my own little house. I'm working with a couple. She's retiring in Florida, and they're coming to look at a property, and it's going to be around $160,000.
Oh, wow, okay.
And she wanted just a smaller place. She has her dad, and it's going to be in a gated community, and it's only 10 minutes from the store, etc. And like the average temp there is probably 80 degrees, and close to the airport, close to medical. So it's advantageous for that. Or luxury, you can buy $2, $3, $4 million houses with, on the cliffs overlooking the ocean, or if you want to be in the city. So it's like you ask the buyer, okay, where do you want to live? How much money? What do you want, a big house, a small house, as much as you can get for the price? So those are just simple questions. And then your timing. So that's important too, right? Are you thinking in 2 years, or are you thinking in 6 months? And are you going to come? And I recommend you come and look at broker properties too. Don't buy them sight unseen.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Or is there a good time to come and buy? Like and come and look?
Not really, because it's kind of like ever spring/summer here. There is a rainy season in parts in Costa Rica, but a lot of times over in the Caribbean, when it's raining on the Pacific side, it's not in the Caribbean. Okay. So that would depend on where you're going to look as well. And that would be a timing, we could consider. And a lot of times it's just the timing of the buyer. Are they ready to go, or are they working, or, we plan it out based on personal preference. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm ready to buy. Okay. I've got my budget. Here's kind of the area that I'm looking at. So the importance of, again, working with a broker like yourself, like what's that process? Is there we're using 2 brokers per side, or is it that, hey, we work with you as a broker and then you work with a seller direct? How does that usually work?
Yes. So you work with your broker. Your broker then it's not as easy to look at everything available. Sometimes we have to breeze through maybe 15 sites and other ways and finding the area you want to be in. We can call local brokers and local offices as well to see if there's off-market listings. So then we send them to you with as much information. We go look at them. You don't need to bring your money with you right away. You can leave it in the United States. Money coming from outside the United States, we need to allow time that they vet where that money comes from. They need to just prove that for obvious reasons, money laundering, trafficking, all of the above. They have to follow a protocol to identify the source of money. I just did one, and I think within 2 weeks that was done, if everyone has their paperwork in order. They just base it, okay, you're retired, or this is what you did, or you had a business, and they ask for different paperwork depending on where those funds are coming. Could even be donated funds. Gifted funds, or out of your retirement account or savings account.
Okay.
So that can wait until you find place. I always suggest an inspection, and the inspection reports are not 60 pages like or 80 pages like we have in the States, but you can get a good inspector where I think like 15, 20 is typical.
Okay.
And,
Great.
you know, that's okay. They'll point out some of the important things. That's important to do. And then you can go from there, depending on the circumstances of the property, how long, you know, the sellers need to move or if it's vacant, etc. But there's other things you need to get. Some want to come and maybe build some little apartments. So you need to get, they call it uso de suelo. That means the municipality tells you the zoning basically is what that is. This is agricultural, you can build on 15%, or this is residential. You can build as much as you want here, and the rules are not as stringent as the States per se.
Yep.
But there's still things you need to find out, because if you're planning on coming in and building on your whole acre, you may find that they, you know, the municipality is like, no, that's too much. You're in what is deemed an agricultural zoning. Yep. So can't have like apartment building here or something like that.
Yep. Yep.
So that's something you need to find out. It's also very good to get your topography survey checked out. Your broker, as your broker, I look and make sure, are there any liens on the property? Are there any restrictions on the property? Has the owner paid their taxes up to date? That is something that we need to have proof of. Also, if I'm going to build on a lot, I need to ask, is there water available? Is there electricity available? If not, what do we need? Are there wetlands? So I've worked in the States 30 years. I still do have my license in Seattle, as you know, and still work up there as well. But here, those similar things in development, it's going to be a little different, and they're called different things, but you need to have your due diligence done. Don't be buying and then later find out you can't do a septic there. Or there's wetlands and they are going to make you go certain number of feet from the river. And where you thought your perfect house is where you wanted to go and the contractor's like, yeah, let's do it. You find out, you know, these are definitely things you need to check out if you're going to build yourself. And a lot of people do come down and build. And it is materials cost around the same. Labor is cheaper here. So it depends what kind of look, if you want a luxury house versus a median house or so forth. But those are things that as your broker, we help you depending on what you're buying and what you're trying to do, that you have all your information before you buy. There was one couple that went up and bought a property up here high. The municipality said you can't build there. Ooh. They eventually did, but it took 3 or 4 years.
To get the variance
to work get through stuff and get them to, So they didn't realize, and of course the seller's like, oh yeah, you can build here, trust me, you know, water here, of course, you know, and yeah. So that's why you need to work with a broker. Also, I'm bilingual. It's helpful to have somebody who speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
If you don't speak Spanish, and to understand how that works. So that's the suggestion, is to just be super good with your due diligence.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So you've identified it. You're ready to write the offer. So you write up the offer for us, mm-hmm. and then does that go to the seller, or is there a seller broker? The seller's broker?
Depends. Sometimes we work directly with the seller. Many cases we do.
Okay.
Because it's very different here. Everybody doesn't have a broker. And also, you can write the offer and just put time into due diligence. That way, the house, if you are super interested, someone else isn't going to write a contract. And then we get all that information. When that's all done, it's pretty quick.
Okay.
And you just go escrow, who is, if you're coming from the States, is probably already verified the funds then. If we have an offer, they immediately are going to ask for documentation when there's a purchase and sale, not past your feasibility study.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll help get that ahead of time, because like I said, it can take a couple weeks. After that, it's ready to go. They're basically just sitting there waiting for everybody to say go. Attorneys, documentation.
Okay.
We don't write our offers We can write them initially, kind of like what we do in the States, but then attorneys do those.
Okay, they finish it up. Okay, because I was curious. Like
They
we have
finish
title
all
and
that.
escrow, and like Canada has the attorneys, notaries, and so in Costa Rica, the attorney is the one that gathers
Yes.
money and everything to close it.
You can have one attorney do everything. A lot of times the seller will have their own attorney, the buyer will have their own attorney.
Oh, okay.
It depends on how everybody wants to work it, how simple the deal may be, or what's involved. But yeah, so they will do all the paperwork, and the buyer's attorney is going to be the vigilant one. Okay, I need the zoning paperwork verified. There's a lot I'm selling over in Rio Cuarto. It's all agricultural. They're doing yucca is being, is planted, but you can
Yep.
build there too. So it took about a week or two to get from the municipality what they're willing to do. And you can do construction, it says, and you can use it as a farm either way. So the zoning's good for either one.
Okay.
There was a main road there. They wanted to make sure that there's access to that road because you could be in front of the road, but they may not let you do an egress,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right? That's something that the buyer is checking out.
Yep.
And then the other things I mentioned to make sure that there's electrical pole, development's possible, where's the water coming from, and it was coming from a community water. So that's great. So those are things you do. And then basically you go in and everybody signs one day and it's done that day.
So
And
is it like the
and
court
10 days later you get the paper that okay, it's mine. It says it's mine
Okay.
now.
Get your little title. Okay. Is that is it a court, they go to the courthouse or just local
Your lawyer, you go to the
lawyer
lawyer
takes care of it and
and
files it away and off we go? Okay.
exactly. So the seller couldn't come. He was 4 hours away. He sent his lawyer up there, sent a representative from a local law team that got representation. He came in and basically signed for the seller.
Okay.
The buyers were there physically. I was there as their broker. And we did the signing. The lawyer had to read through the whole thing, ask
Yep.
if there's any questions. They read everything on the contract and what's going to get done. Okay, it's done. And that day, escrow dispersed money to the seller, and the money was already sitting there for a week. The buyer had already wired the funds
Oh,
to
okay.
escrow, and it was waiting for the day of signing.
It's all just then ta-da. Closing's pretty simple. It's just the due diligence of making
Yeah.
sure whatever it is that you want. If especially if it's development or future development, because if it's a house that's already there, okay, it's there. But
Yeah.
if it's
And if it's
making
in a
sure that it will match
condominium,
today and 5 years from now.
yeah. And if it's in a condominium, or sometimes they're condominium projects where there's houses, we kind of called them zero lot lines in Washington,
Yep. Yep.
where there's more like this. And, these have a little bit of property, but they're a little more straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Basically, okay, these are the HOA dues, this is what they cover. It's a
Yeah.
little bit faster. You can put an offer in within a week as long as your funds are already verified. You can buy pretty quick.
Do
Oh, another thing I was going to tell you, sorry.
yeah.
Lot of furnished houses here.
Oh, okay.
A lot. You can come down, they're turnkey, and just bring in your luggage in.
Okay.
And yep. So some of them, the condo I'm telling you about, she's selling. She already tricked it out with brand new furniture and dishes and towels and beautiful little 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a view of the river. She's on a corner, and it's a really darling place for $270,000.
Oh, wow.
And it's Gracia, great weather, and you can just bring your luggage in and sleep there. It's got sheets and everything. It's like
Yeah.
going in an Airbnb, basically.
Yeah.
And our Airbnbs they sell. That happened at this beach one. The buyers from Hawaii came in. It had been rented as an Airbnb the last 2 years.
Oh, okay. I was kind of curious about like the Airbnb market. Do we see a lot of people buying for Airbnb still?
Some do. They're not going to run it as an Airbnb, but because it had been, it was a turnkey property.
Oh,
They didn't
fully
take out the
furnished, yeah.
furniture. They got everything that was there. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's very typical for people if you don't want to like send your furniture down in containers or crates or feel like you got to buy everything here. It's very possible to get turnkey properties.
Okay. So is it so like taxes, commission, what like closing costs? What do you know what that would be kind of basically
Yes,
run? Is
and
there
it's,
kind of an idea?
yeah, so the seller pays the tax, which is required by law. I would
Okay.
say I would, for Washington, compare it to an excise tax. But the buyers pay the, see, I mixed it up. Let me change that. The sellers pay the commission
Okay.
and pay their lawyer.
Okay.
The buyers pay the tax.
Okay.
So that can be like for a $250,000 house, it could be 10 grand.
Okay. So it's basically sales tax in a way.
It kind of like a closing cost for you as a buyer.
Yep.
And then you've got, to pay the lawyer. The escrow is pretty typical to me, like an escrow fee. I didn't think it was more exorbitant than what a normal escrow would charge.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So those are pretty standard. Okay. Do you see mostly cash transactions or can you actually get financing?
So there are some areas you can do financing as a gringo or as a foreigner, but
Yeah.
the interest rates are very high, 10, 12%.
Okay.
You can understand why. You can take out a loan. Also, they cost money to take out that loan. You're going to pay a hefty fee to the bank
Right.
just to get it done. And because people could just leave the country, obviously. What are they going to go
Right.
do?
Right.
Usually, as a foreigner, you're going to have that money.
Yeah.
Some have taken money out of existing property, or, they'll get a, what do you call it, a equity loan from a property they own up there to buy property down here, or they'll just have cash or have just sold their property or
Yeah. Okay.
anything like that. So financing for a national here, yes, they have it, but it's probably like 8, 9% even for them. It's expensive, but people do it because that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way you
Yep.
can get a
Okay.
house.
Nope, that makes sense. So what do you see happen for are the old rookie mistakes as we call them? So what are some rookie mistakes that buyers again get caught up in?
I think the biggest thing is lamenting later that it's not really where they want to live. Maybe they didn't know. Know that to sell a property here does take a little bit longer than the States.
Yep.
I think we looked at a report about a month ago. Residential can take about 6 months,
Oh wow. Okay.
6 to 8 months to sell, average. And your price needs to be right,
Yep.
obviously, in every market. And land could take over a year or 2 years to sell. So
Okay.
if you're going to buy something, don't be emotional about it, is what I would say.
Okay. And then I think you talked about too, if you're gonna try, if you want to do any development, make sure you know what you know with the municipality. If you wanted to expand, and like I know your property, you've expanded and you're able to do that, where others might not, yeah, be able to. So that's, which is, again, do the due diligence, get local people that know what they're doing. Okay.
The one
So,
other thing, one other thing I'd mention, Steve, is that if you're a super social person and you're not gonna, you want to be with other foreign residents here, you may want to look for areas that have that. Where I live, there's a huge group and community of expats.
okay.
A lot of the beach areas have that too.
Yeah.
Some people, that's not their thing. They want to come, they garden, they integrate in the community, they want to learn Spanish. Other people don't. They just want to come and enjoy the beauty here and
Yep.
play cards on Friday night with Canadians and Europeans and Americans, and of course have friends that are Ticos too, but styles are different.
Yeah.
So those are things you can look into, and many people feel it's really nice to rent maybe at least 6 months.
Oh, okay.
And you can get rental properties here, and 6 months to a year gives you time to do some investigating or make several trips down here in different areas. But I think a trip is very different than living somewhere,
No,
living in an
yeah, yeah,
area or
yeah.
a community.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. So, because that was kind of my next question of, okay, I want to buy, I think, I want to buy Costa Rica. What are my next three moves? Definitely visit and connect with the broker that is there locally and can, you can know and trust. And then, yeah, possibly even rent for a little bit before to make sure, yeah, this is this is the region or the area that I want to live in,
Mhm.
and and then go out and once you have that decided, then go ahead and hey, start
Yeah.
looking at some properties. So
Lots of Airbnbs here too. You can get on Airbnb and get a place and kind of, online you can find different groups, different pockets of different groups. And one of my gals, she's rented down here for 3 years and she's selling her house up in Washington and she plays pickleball.
oh
And she goes all over and she's made great friends in the pickleball community. And they're not all foreigners at all, but there is
yeah,
groups and they go play every week. She takes a Spanish class once a week. She's had her mom down for 3 months and she's taking her back. So her plan was to come for 3 years only. That's why she didn't sell her house first. And she thought she'd go back and live in Washington. Well, now she's selling her house there and wants to live here.
yeah, okay.
So she was an overly cautious person in that sense, I guess you could say. But yeah, a lot of people do love it.
No, again, it was beautiful when I came to visit. I can't wait to come out there again. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's go. Okay, last few rapid fire. One word or one sentence. Best region for first time buyers who want easy US access.
That would be the Central Valley. Alajuela
Okay,
is the province. It's where I live too, near Gracia, San Ramon, Atenas. And even though those places are close, Atenas is a little warmer
okay,
and drier.
okay,
And up in the mountains, it can be a little bit more rainier, but it's greened. So even within that Central Valley area and even in south, near all the volcanoes, they've got a lot all around this area. I would think would be, you've got great medical and the airport's really close.
okay. So, what about the most overrated area?
I would say overrated, Jaco.
Okay, okay,
It's on all of the travel sites. It's really close to the airport, but it's being overbuilt. They say that there's not going to be a lot of water. I've heard some
ooh,
contractors there say some of those high rises don't even have enough infrastructure to handle stuff. It's kind of, I think, a party place too. And if people only have gone there, it won't give you the complete picture of Costa Rica. But I would say that's the most overrated in my opinion.
okay. What about the most underrated?
Underrated. Ooh, that's hard. Underrated. I don't know. I think it depends on the person.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it totally depends who you are and what is your dream spot.
yep,
Are you an introvert, extrovert? Are you more community oriented or not? I don't know. Underrated, and things are changing, as it is in the whole world. So I can't answer that specifically. Sorry, that wasn't a one word answer, was
yeah,
it?
yeah. No, that's good. Never,